You have an opportunity to be able to do 2 extra elements that one of them needs to be incorporated into your paper. Last week we learned about how to do that image and to find that image and incorporate it in. This week we're looking at the personal interview that you will be conducting. Some of you, if you choose this, the first thing you might want to do is get onto YouTube, find a YouTube video that where an interview was conducted and see what questions they've asked and be able to look at them. I want you to recognize, you guys, that this is primary research you're doing, okay? Primary research is you have done it. Secondary research are the articles you have found. Somebody else has done the research, they've written it up, they've included it into a paper, and you're reading it. So know the difference between primary and secondary. It might show up on that final quiz. Okay, primary and secondary research. Now here we've got some examples of what are some elements inside the interview that you need to know. It needs to be open-ended. The questions that you have written need to open it up for discussion so that they can speak to it. If the question you've written is a yes/no question, it's going to be a very short interview, okay? So you've got to write the question in such a way that they will be able to speak to it. The next thing is that you need to make sure your question is not biased. In other words, if you have a negative aspect regarding something in your career, your question could become across very biased as negative, and you want to keep it neutral. You want to avoid being biased. And the second thing is you don't want to lead the interviewee, okay? It's easy to write questions where they know exactly the kind of answer you want to hear, and so you lead them to that answer. And if you really want to hear what they have to say, you make sure your questions don't lead. And then the last thing I want to say is you obviously, I hope, know this, but you thank them, okay? You thank them for that interview, what they have given to them. Let them know that that interview will go into your paper, that you're incorporating it for research. So how do you find an interviewee? Well, you can find it on a blog where people have, interact. You can find it through, you can email somebody in an organization or corporation and ask if they'd be willing to. You can do it over the phone. You can do it in person. There's many different ways in which you conduct this interview, and you just need a couple of questions. Once those questions are answered, then you incorporate it into the paper, and you do that by introducing, I interviewed so-and-so, then you share some answers to those inside the paragraph, and then you cite it with their name. Parenthetical citation is their last name inside of that parenthetical citation. In the works cited page, you begin with their last name, comma, first name, and then you say personal interview and the date in which you did it. That's how you cite it in the works cited. So I hope that some of you do choose to do this interview as your extra element, and it does need a paragraph set aside for what you have done so that you can explain what was learned inside there.